How do we experience meaning?
There are really two levels at which we experience meaning, and I think one is more fundamental than the other. So the more superficial level and the level which most people worry about is the level of the stories we tell ourselves about our lives, the kinds of thoughts we think, the things we believe, the narratives we trade in, and the conceptual frame around which we view experience. And these stories can be incredibly powerful, and negative stories can be profoundly enervating and dispiriting and divisive. Right? I mean, all of the conflict between people in the world we see is born of irreconcilable stories. The groups are telling each other. I mean, all of this is conveyed by thought and language, and people are persuaded to one or another degree by stories in the end, and they're incredibly motivating. But they're not the most fundamental layer of our experience. I mean, what's more basic than stories is our attention in each moment, just what we can locate in our experience directly, and how satisfying it is to see the universe through our own eyes. Right, and the most satisfying way of engaging life is not to be endlessly thinking about it, to be endlessly rehearsing some set of ideas or some belief or some conceptual recitation of facts. Right, it's not in understanding yourself conceptually or in telling yourself some story about your past or future that you can most fully engage what it's like to be you in the present. Right? There's something deeper than that. And it's by definition non-conceptual. It really is just, can you let your attention fully sink into the present moment so that you can discover what is beautiful there, what is sacred there, what is self-transcending there, what is a source of profound well-being and fulfillment. I mean, can you arrive in the present moment in such a way that its depth reveals itself to you, to consciousness in the present. And most of us can't do that at all, or hostage to the events of our lives. We need some kind of peak experience to knock us out of our normal rut. And we associate with those experiences the causal power of profundity, right? Like it was only when I finally got to the mountaintop after preparing for months to climb this mountain and traveling, 8,000 miles and getting all my gear together and surviving profound danger, right? I finally got to Everest Base Camp or to the summit and risked my life and worried my spouse, and that was the moment that I was transported beyond myself, and it lasted about 14 seconds, and then I had to rush down lest I get killed at the highest point on earth. Right? That's the normal experience of that's an extreme version of it, but that's what we do. We have peak experiences that come once a year, if we're lucky. Those are moments where we recognize that it's possible to have a non-ordinary and truly sacred encounter with our lives in this world. But of course, that gets everything backwards. I mean, really, what is revealed in those moments is a capacity that the mind has in every other moment, which is to pay full attention to experience. And the way to address that directly has to come by other methods. It's not a matter of schlepping halfway across the earth or acquiring all kinds of new skills. It's a matter of training attention such that you can really be here in the present and break the spell of your ceaseless identification with thought. And the name by which most of those efforts go now is meditation, and mindfulness is a specific type of meditation which I recommend, but there are other methods. Of course, there's now a renewed interest in psychedelics, which have been quite helpful to people. But there's nothing that you can experience on psychedelics that the brain itself isn't capable of experiencing, right? I mean, these compounds either mimic neurotransmitters or cause neurotransmitters to behave differently or to be secreted in different quantities or to delay the reuptake, right? So there's your brain, there's nothing that your brain is being pushed to do that it isn't capable of doing already. And whatever method you use, I think it's important to recognize that your mind is all you have, really. Your mind is the basis of your experience in each moment. And therefore, it makes sense to train it. It makes sense to understand it. It makes sense to pay attention to it directly.